Today we have a special guest on Unusual Brief. He is the people's champion. He is the political prophet of our time. Never in the history of politics in Zimbabwe have we ever witnessed a prophet who was so much on point. Today on the show I have Mr. Acie Lumumba. How are you, sir?
It's very good to be here and congratulations for you guys' show.
Thank you. Today on the show, Mr. Lumumba, we are talking about Lobola. People have been talking about Lobola, people have been raising issues, but my question to you is, what do you think about Lobola? What's your position about, your feelings about Lobola?
So, every people have a culture, and Lobola is a central part of a culture within Zimbabwe. I think those who belong to that culture should revere it. I think those who practice it should not be judged for it. That's their culture. The same way in some cultures they have Christmas. The same way in some cultures they celebrate birthdays. In the Zimbabwean culture, and maybe by and large the African culture, we celebrate marriages, and we do that by means of exchange of tokens, whether money, goats, cows, chickens. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's one of the things that make us Zimbabwean. Remove that from the context of the Zimbabwean story, you steal a part of our culture. It's part of our culture. I respect it, I practice it, and I have no problems with it.
Brilliant. So what you are alluding to is the point of the functionality of the family unit that then celebrates the Lobola. But there are situations where you realize that the mother raises a child on your own, and then the father plays no part whatsoever. But when that girl is being married, the father gets maybe 7/8 of the proceeds, because my vanongwana mafukidza dumbo, I think only nehembe dzamai chichimwe. What's your take on that? Is it fair though?
I think what is as important to understand about this culture of Lobola as anything is to understand it's also a very intimate and personal exercise. You have no right to come into my house and determine how I relate with my family. Likewise, I have no right to come into your house and determine how you relate with your wife. There is something very intimate about marriage. It's the coming together not just of two people, but of two cultures and perhaps two very different worlds. As they decide at their discretion, so they should practice. It is not my role or anybody's role to determine how much the father should get or how much the mother should get, because while you may say the father was absent, how much is absent? You know, how much is being there? Is 1 year absent? Is 2 years absent? Is 20 years absent? Do we know the circumstances of the absency? We don't know. And I think it should be tailor-made, bespoke per person.
Let's look at the situation where a child becomes a flower, a self-raising flower, where the father played no part whatsoever. And you know what I mean. There are women who have struggled with the kids from kindergarten until they grow into, and situations like that. Do you think it's fair on the mother, after all she has done, that the child then just,
I'll give you an example, a very personal example. I did not know my father until I was 26 years old.
Okay.
And when I got to know him when I was 26 years old, I had a choice to make. Is he still my father? Do I prejudice my wife of a father-in-law? Do I prejudice my son of a grandfather? Do I prejudice myself of a father because of something I have no idea what happened between the two of them, but the point is he wasn't there. So when he comes back, do I allow him in? I think family is something we can't choose. So if anybody has any chance of reuniting with their family, we should encourage it. Asana baba ngawasara ngosvika paposition ka wona pasetwa post wonzwa munhu rakuluma aiwa kana game rekuluma munhu manager dumbu dzidzira manager dumbu anoda kudya zvinorwadza atenga. So remember, we're describing a situation where a mind waitenga chikafu yoda kudya zvinorwadza aitenga chikafu paka manager ukama wako first wamanager ukama, remember hanzi mukwasha apere kudyiwa, saka mukwasha pari kubuda keshi pachiripo unozodzoka nerweseri kauchidya keshi panapa imbopaka.
Yeah, but we don't blame a father when he realizes Lumumba is the one marrying his daughter. Nengoro ni mabara kuzo collect.
So what was takasimba? Atukunyebere mdara takasimba kusimba jako pa cash rights.
Apavane cash. Okay, so okay. Yeah, now you've talked about cash. So how much do you think is the normal figure for Lobola? Like we can say, is $100 okay? $200, $1 million? How much do you think is a chargeable fee for Lobola?
I think that this is why the pre-negotiations happen between families. It should be within the limits that allow, first of all, the marriage to actually take place, but secondly, amusema uraya vana, so vachagona kuvaka. So, you know, there's a saying that says, kugara kwe vane mari kunenge kudada. You know, that to me, $1,000 might be very little money, but to you it might be serious money. So you can't put a limit because we all have different entry levels of this entry levels of what we call munane mari. So it should be based on the two principles. That number one, does it allow the marriage to actually take place? But number two, does it allow the family to then become a unit that can self-sustain afterwards?
Wow. I think he has answered it with the aplomb of a general. No, not the judge, a general in generalism of generalities. Okay, moving on, there's the issue of patriotism that I want to talk about. We talked about it earlier in the show. We talked about the issue of how in America the NFL players, they bend one knee trying to, you know, bring out the issue of Black Lives Matter. In Zimbabwe, we realized people have been using the national flag at one point. What's your thought? What's your thought on the issues of patriotism and how black people, specifically all over the world, show that their lives matter, etc., etc.?
I think true patriotism is when you give up of yourself to the service of your countrymen. That's true patriotism. Now, whether you do that by giving them comedy, by singing for them, by playing in a national sports team, by being a president, or by running for any public office, true patriotism is when you take off every gift you have, every passion you have. If I take out of Doc Vikela and I give it to the country, that's patriotism. So we will always express it differently. The flag is nothing but the mantle by which we purple ribbon that patriotism. It's just a flag. It's but a piece of cloth. What it represents, however, is what it is you are giving of yourself to. When you look at the flag, the colors themselves describe what has been given off for you and me to be sitting in this chest today.
Wow. I knew when I saw that question that Acie Lumumba was going to ace it. And he just did. I mean, okay, so talking about flags, there was a time when we had this flag movement, and this flag, our national flag that you're donning there, was used by people to air out their grievances, etc., and it was banned for a moment. But recently we saw that all that changed when people converged on the streets with their flag. Do you think that people should be banned to utilize the national flag to show to air their grievances, etc.? Do you think they should be?
The flag is a symbol of identity. So if you go to South Africa and you hold the Zimbabwean flag, you are using it as, they don't know your name, but the moment they see the flag, they know where you're coming from. It's like your last name. It tells me where you are coming from. So the use of the flag is nothing but a symbol to say this is where I come from. So the use of it, telling someone to not use the flag is like saying to someone, don't use your name, or don't use the name Zimbabwean. Those who feel threatened by it, and those who were threatened by it, were threatened because you finally knew what your name was. They were threatened because now Doc Vikela knew that I am a Zimbabwean. Blood was shed for me. Gold and wealth was left for me to enjoy. Doc Vikela was saying the green you see in this country is my wealth. That bird that you see on the flag represents my rising like a phoenix. It's the greatness enshrined for me. Doc Vikela now knew his identity, and nothing is more frightening than a people who know their identity.
Wow. Believe you me, if this guy was campaigning today, I would say I'm voting for him. Yay, you're slick, Baba. Yay, yo. Yeah. Okay. So, viewers, I think it comes a time when you want to ask a serious question on the show. But my serious question today is quite unique. It's unusual. I've never asked it before, and it goes out to the incumbent, the current president, His Excellency. I want to ask you, on a personal level, your thoughts about his presidency, your thoughts about what his national, state of the address, inauguration address. What are your thoughts from here going forward?
My thoughts are, for the first time in your life, you can become a millionaire from doing what you're doing. Those are my thoughts. My thoughts are, the men and women behind these cameras, for the first time in their lives, they can call this a career. They can actually wake up every morning, do this, and take their kids to school and be able to go out on nice nights out with their friends. Why? Because all of a sudden the playing field has been open. For a long time, you as a Zimbabwean were a spectator in your own country. You watched the economy. Ndikakuvunza kuti ungosina basa nebond because ungosina cash yacho. Ungosina basa nezvikuitika kuRBZ because hakuna mari yako ingairi kuRBZ. But for the first time, you now have an economy that people can access. This data is about to be very available. TV stations across the world are now allowed to come in. This product is allowed to be filmed. You tried to do this 2 weeks ago. You needed all manner of clearances to be talking to Lumumba. Now you can talk to Lumumba without a police clearance. So that's what the presidency is about to me. The fact that over the next 8 months before the elections, we can build the first generation in Africa of young millionaires. And I want to see you as a millionaire. The president of this country wants to see you as a millionaire. So when people ask me, why do you support him? I say, why not? He wants to make me rich. This is a man who wants to make me rich. Why would I not support him? He wants to make you rich. Your job and my job is not to question his presidency, is to support his presidency. Because if you don't like it, an election is coming. You can change him. But right now, he is the president, your president, even if you voted for him or you didn't, and you have a choice, do you benefit from his presidency or do you suffer from his presidency? Why would you choose poverty?
I have a chance to legitimately be a millionaire. I wouldn't want these inquiries that are happening. I wouldn't want to be in leg irons on my way to Shikurubi. I've already seen men in suits going down that route. Mr. Acie Lumumba, thank you so much for coming to the show. But before I let you off the hook, this is Unusual Brief, a show where we do unusual things. So I'm going to ask you to do something very unusual, something that the viewers have never seen before, something that you can wow us in brief, something unusual.
Okay, this is the unusual thing I want to do. I'm going to wear my glasses for this, okay? On the 30th of June, 2016, I got on a stage and I said, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, fuck you. So here's the red line. Mr. President, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Fuck you. I've drawn the line. I've never said I'm sorry. And on your show, I want the world to know I am sorry for the words I used. I am sorry for what I said to a sitting president. It was out of the frustration in my spirit. It is not right. And I wish the president well. He has done his part for this country. I have attacked him a lot, but I've won. And I want to win gracefully. And I want him and his family to have a happy ending. Because we now too have a chance for a happy ending. So that's the unusual thing I want to do. I want to say I'm sorry.
Wow, he wants to win gracefully. Mr. Lumumba, thank you so much for gracing our show.
Thank you.
Until next time, bye-bye.